President John Dramani Mahama has reaffirmed government's commitment to consolidating recent security gains and working closely with security agencies, traditional authorities, and local communities to secure lasting peace in Bawku and other conflict-prone areas across the country. Speaking at the annual West African Soldiers Social Activities Wasa held at Bema Camp in Accra on Friday, President Mahama said peace and security remain fundamental to Ghana's development agenda. He noted that although Ghana's security environment remains generally peaceful, isolated pockets of insecurity continue to pose challenges, particularly in parts of the northern sector. The president attributed Ghana's relative stability largely to the professionalism, discipline, and sacrifices of the men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces and other security agencies. President Mahama particularly commended the armed forces for their conduct during recent security operations in conflict-affected areas, noting that their restraint and adherence to professional standards had helped restore calm.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's security environment remains generally peaceful, notwithstanding isolated pockets of insecurity and conflict in areas such as Bawku, Alabanyu, Nkonya, Nkwanta, and Nantong. In a sub-region facing complex and evolving security challenges, Ghana continues to be a beacon of stability and democratic resilience. This enviable position is attributable in no small measure to the professionalism, discipline, and sacrifice of the men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces in the execution of your constitutional mandate, that is defending our territorial integrity, supporting the civil authority, providing humanitarian assistance, and contributing to national development. In this regard, I wish to commend the collective efforts of the armed forces under Operation Gongong and Operation Maidaburi in Bawku and its environs. Peace and security are the bedrock of development, and your professional conduct during these operations has significantly contributed to the relative calm we are witnessing in these areas today. Your restraint, your discipline, and adherence to the highest standard of military professionalism deserve the nation's most profound admiration. Let me assure you that government remains fully committed to consolidating these gains and will continue to work closely with the security services, traditional authorities, and local communities to secure lasting peace in Bawku and throughout the other affected areas.
President Mahama reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to international peacekeeping while acknowledging the growing challenges confronting United Nations missions across the world due to financial and logistical constraints. According to the president, recent global developments have led to significant drawdowns in UN peacekeeping operations, directly affecting Ghana's troops deployed or embarked for deployment under the UN framework. He further revealed that an additional 77 Ghanaian troops currently serving in South Sudan are scheduled to be repatriated later this month.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Armed Forces continues to play a vital role in international peacekeeping, even as global dynamics continue to evolve. The current financial and logistical challenges facing the United Nations have led to significant drawdowns in peacekeeping operations worldwide. I've been informed that 247 personnel deployed to southern Lebanon were repatriated just 2 months after deployment, while another 217 personnel earmarked for South Sudan were stood down after pre-deployment training. An additional 77 personnel are scheduled to be repatriated from South Sudan later this month. Also, given the possible closure of UNIFIL by December 2026, the government is fully aware of the implications. I've therefore directed that all affected personnel be prioritized for future peacekeeping deployments. At the same time, the Military High Command is undertaking a strategic review to position the Ghana Armed Forces in a post-UN peacekeeping environment.